All right. So welcome, everyone. My name is Sammy Postma. I am the Events and Education Coordinator at Goosefoot. So that means I get to teach these workshops, I get to run our social media and our events. When all of this started happening, we had decided what is the best way to help our businesses in the tools we have available. And so we decided to mobilize and get this workshop online. So this really helps Goose fulfill its mission of working with the South Whidbey community to create essential solutions, especially by growing local businesses. So a couple things first off, this is our first webinar, so thank you so much for having patience with me if we run into any kinks in the road. For those of you that might not have participated in a webinar through Zoom, there is a chat function. I see some of you guys are using it. Be sure you switch the to field to all participants and attendees so that everyone can see your chat, not just Marion and I. You do not have audio or video capabilities. You can only hear me and see me. I can't do the same to you. So using that chat function and the Q&A box is super important to participating with this workshop. When I turn my head, I'm looking at the chat. I unfortunately won't be able to do it all the time. So luckily for me, I have Marion here with me. If you want to say hello, Marion. Gotta give her a second to unmute. So if any big questions come up, Marion will let me know from the chat, because like I said, I'll keep an eye on it, but unfortunately I'm not able to watch it the whole time. So participation in this workshop and in all of my workshops, for any people who have been to any of my workshops before, it's not just learning from me, it is learning from one another as well. I just had a question pop up in the Q&A. There's a difference between the Q&A and the chat functions in that I get a list of the Q&As pulled out of the chat. It gives me a little pop-up notification that there's been one. So if it's really important, I can immediately see it. But if I don't have time to answer it live during this workshop, I can go back and answer those questions at the end, and you'll all get a notification of that. So please feel free to use the chat function to talk to each other, to ask casual questions. If it's something really important that you really need the answer to, feel free to use the Q&A box. I might not answer it during the workshop, but I will answer every question by the end of the workshop. There's some other nice, cool little features you might see throughout it. There's also a Q&A or some polls that might pop up throughout the whole thing. This is just a good way for me to gauge what you guys are thinking and to get some feedback on some of the thoughts. So on that note, I'm actually going to go ahead and launch the first poll. For those of you that have joined us on your phones, I apologize, you might not be able to see this, but for everybody else, please go ahead and answer that. I'm just asking you, what is it that you're hoping to sell? Is it a physical product, a digital good, some sort of service, or is there something else? And if none of those really fit, go ahead and pop that in the chat box so we can see it later. So on that note, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Like I said, please feel free to ask questions at any time, even if I can't get to them right now during the workshop. I promise I will answer all questions later. So this is just a quick overview of what we're going to be talking about today. I am going to go slide by slide. This workshop is being recorded, and I will send it to all of you at the end. So if you need to review anything we talked about today, please feel free to pull that up. Please make sure you're taking good notes, and let's get started. So first off, we're going to talk about why you should sell online. This is probably an unnecessary slide. I'm preaching to the choir here. You're all here because you understand how important it is to sell online. But especially in this day and age of social distancing, store closures, and a lot of uncertain times, selling online helps keep you top of mind in your customers so that when you are able to reopen and rejoin them, they're still thinking about you and remembering you and wanting to come back. It also just helps people who care about you, which a lot of your customers do. It helps them keep in touch with you and know what's going on with you. Um, but even before all of this happened, selling online was incredibly important. So Josie and Fagan, the president of Telesmart Communications, a couple years ago said, by the year 2020, 85% of the buyer-seller interaction will happen online through social media and video. So what that means is before customers ever step in your door, they're looking at reviews to see how your store is. They're looking online to see what sort of products you offer. They're comparing prices and quality and availability online. They're answering a lot of their questions about how things work and why they might want it before they've ever even stepped foot in your store to buy the thing. So it is incredibly important to be there where people are looking for that information. E-commerce itself is growing 23% year over year. That number is only increasing every single year. Yet 46% of American small businesses do not have a website. So more and more and more of the American population is shopping online. And so many small businesses aren't there to answer that question. 51% of Americans prefer to shop online. They are doing it from home, while they're sitting in the bathroom, while they're waiting in line at the ferry. More than half of Americans, and that number once again only increases each year, are shopping online. 96% of Americans with internet access have made an online purchase, 80% in the past month alone. And once again, I'm sure that this is somewhat old data. I'm sure that number has only increased as stores have closed, as local supply has gotten tighter. People have been going online to the point where Amazon has had to prioritize things instead of just shipping everything like they usually do. So people are already shopping online. Current situations are only exacerbating that. So make sure that you are there to answer those questions. Nancy asked a question earlier, is it going to be possible to get a copy of the slides afterwards? Yes, when this is over, I will be sending you all the slides. I'll be sending you a link to the video, and I will be sending you a link to sign up for those one-on-one sessions, and I'll talk about those at the end. So thank you guys for participating in that poll. All right, so there are a number of ways to sell online. You can use your own website. A lot of people do this, and a lot of the ways we're going to be talking about today is selling on your own website. But there's also third-party websites that exist out there. So these are websites run by other companies that allow you to go in and put your own product on their site to reach an established customer base. This is your Amazons, your eBays, Etsy's, and there's a lot of other marketplaces that are popping up as well. And then social media today is actually allowing a lot of online sales. I was reading an article the other week about how video used to be the big battleground, where everybody was competing to get video on their platform and get people watching video on their platform. This is why you've seen such a huge spike in videos on Facebook and Instagram. Unfortunately, YouTube has pretty much completely won that battle. YouTube is synonymous with online video, but that has made the next big battleground online sales. Right now, Amazon is dominating that field, but a lot of social media sites are trying to cut out the middleman and directly tie content producers and businesses that are on those platforms with a direct way to sell products to their customers where those customers already are, rather than forcing them to push people off of Amazon or Etsy or eBay and stay on that platform of Facebook and Instagram to buy the product itself. So we're going to talk a little bit about pros and cons of each. Some pros for selling on your own website is obviously there are no listing fees. You can add as many products as you have the capacity to, and you're not going to get charged for each and every product that you list. There you have the ability to directly interact with customers. I was trying to buy something from a company that makes custom blinds, and they only sell through Amazon. Trying to contact the company directly for a question was very difficult. Amazon really forces people to either talk to Amazon, who will then talk to the seller, or they force them onto public forums where anybody can ask questions and anybody can answer, even if that person doesn't necessarily know the answer. When it is your own website, you have more control. You can directly have people call you directly. They can email you directly. There's no middleman that you have to go through there. And you can also design the entire experience from entry to checkout. You have control over what they see and when, over the color palette, over the layout, over, you know, what's showing and what's hidden, and whether or not they're seeing anybody else's product. You have entire control. Now, some of the cons to this might be that it's more time consuming to run your own website. Setting up a website properly to sell things is not a quick and easy progress. It's going to take you probably at least 5 hours, if not a lot more, if you have a lot of products to sell. That's the time it takes to do it well. It takes more marketing. You have to let people know that this is a thing that exists and that they should come to your website and that they should patronize your business, and here's how they can do that. However that works out for you, whether that's traditional advertising or social media or newsletters or postcards, there's a lot of ways to do it, but you are responsible for doing the marketing for your own business. It also has a longer process to get started. We'll talk in a little bit about third-party sellers. It's a lot easier to go in and set up your product and be done, whereas doing your own website, you have a lot of setup that has to happen before you can even get to selling your product. And then there's also additional infrastructure costs. It's not just the credit card processing fees when you're setting up your own website to sell products. You might have to pay for hosting for your website. You might have to buy additional plugins or extra tools to help you do what you want to do. You have to pay for your domain. That's the URL that people type in to get to your store. And there's some other little costs that might pop up depending on what you're using. So now that we've talked about pros and cons, I'm going to launch another poll that is looking at, do you currently have your own website? So I've just launched that. Go ahead and answer that when you have the time. It looks like a lot of you do have your own website, but keep those answers coming in. Even if you're not end up deciding that you're going to sell your own product on your website, I would highly encourage you to have a website, even if it's just a placeholder for where they can get information on you and your public image, because social media is changing rapidly. They are emphasizing some things, taking other things away, and you have no control over that. You don't own your presence on social media. So, you know, if Facebook went away tomorrow, how many of you that only have Facebook pages would be in a lot of trouble? It's a very particular, it's a very scary place to just have something that someone else controls. So even if you don't end up selling on your website, I would encourage you to at least get a website. All right. So selling on third-party websites. This means that you are selling through a platform that somebody else offers. This is your Amazons, your Etsy's, your eBays. For those of you that aren't familiar, I'm sure you all know what Amazon and eBay are, but if anyone's not familiar, Etsy is the largest third-party site for sellers that make traditional art. So that you make handmade goods, or you have vintage stuff, or you have supplies to make art and handmade goods. You can only sell those things on Etsy. Anything else will not be allowed on the platform. There's a few other third-party sites. I'm not going to talk a lot about them today, about how to get on them, because there are so many out there. There's lots of different requirements depending on what you're doing. For some of you, you might be hoping to get on Amazon, but right now that's not necessarily a good idea because, as I said, if you're doing fulfillment through Amazon, Amazon is prioritizing only household goods, medical supplies, food, those kind of really things they've deemed high importance right now. You can still sell your own products through Amazon and fulfill it for yourself. But I'm not going to spend too much time talking about the logistics of using a third-party site because their entire business model is making it as easy as possible for you to sell your product through them because that's how they make their money and that's how they get their cut. Because of that, they have an extensive amount of videos and tutorials teaching you how to use their systems. So I highly recommend you look into those, but we'll still cover the pros and cons. So some of the pros for selling on a third-party site is that it is incredibly fast. Like I said, their entire business model is how do I make this as easy as possible for you to sell through me so that I can have a cut. So therefore, it takes very little time to get your first product up on their site. On that note, it's also very easy to use. Literally anyone can sell on these third-party sites. They make it very easy to understand with a huge number of tutorials, as I was mentioning earlier. You also have the chance to tap into a large existing customer base. You get to skip that stage of marketing where you have to tell people this is a thing that exists. People already know what Amazon and eBay are. They already know to go there if they're interested in those things. You will still have the marketing of your own business. So on that note, some of the cons are that it's less flexible. You can only sell the kinds of things that they've deemed sellable on their site, and you can only sell them in the ways they allow you to. That's somewhat less controlling nowadays because these sites have so many functions built in. You can add a lot of pictures, you can add a lot of description, you can add a video, but go back 10 years with eBay and you used to only be able to add like 40-word descriptions and a handful of pictures unless you wanted to pay a bunch more. They could still do that at any time. They could limit what you're allowed to say about your product. They can also control how you present it. So there's less flexibility there. There's also high competition because it's so easy, because it's so accessible. Anybody can sell on there. So therefore, a lot of people are selling the exact same thing as you. It's even more high competition than maybe your storefront has been in the past. You're just competing with the other downtown businesses, but on a third-party site, you're competing with the entire world. There's also minimal customer interaction. As I said, they can make it difficult for people to talk directly to you. This depends on the third-party platform, but things change a lot and you can't necessarily talk directly to the customer because that company that runs the site is doing so. There are potentially restrictive policies or rules to deal with. Amazon, for example, has a ginormous page on their website of what you are and are not allowed to sell on there. For example, if you are a rare coin collector, they're actually not accepting any more sellers of collectible coins. They've decided they have enough vendors. They're not accepting anyone else in that category. So you would violate that policy. Additionally, eBay's got some policies such as you can't sell anything that's not real. You can't sell human body parts. You can't sell people. Somebody once tried to do a listing where they were selling their soul on eBay, and they said, well, they took it down because either you believe that the soul is real and that it therefore is a part of a human body, or you don't believe it's real and therefore it's not a thing that actually exists. So either way, you cannot sell that on our site. Even joke listings like that. Nothing's stopping you from selling it on your own website. You very much cannot sell it on these third-party sites. There's also listing fees and commissions. They, by their model of how they work, they take a cut of what you pay, of what you charge, sorry. So yeah, credit card companies do the same, but this can be anywhere from a few cents. I think eBay's like 10 cents per item plus a cut like 15% of the commission. I'm not sure exactly what those rates are, and it depends on each platform. but there's a cost to list your item, each and every one, and there's a cut of commission when they take it from you when you actually sell the item. So it does cost more to sell on a third-party site because of all the benefits we've talked about already. So I hope I'm not moving too fast for anyone and that you guys are getting some good questions. Share those. But yeah, it looks like so 16% of you have your own website, or 16 of you have your own website. That's awesome. All right. So luckily for us, there are a ton of tools to help you sell online. Sorry, fiddling with the systems. There we go. All right. So if you're having your own website, WordPress is one such tool. It is the largest content management system, which means you can build a website and you can do a lot of stuff with it. On WordPress, WordPress itself is not directly set up for sales, but there are so many plugins, which are additional tools you can install that allow you to do sales very easily. So Woocommerce is probably the one most of you guys have heard of. It is the largest plugin installed on WordPress. Most people that have stores on WordPress use WooCommerce. However, there's a bunch of other ones. I just started working with someone that has Ecwid on their website. BigCommerce is an option. Easy Digital Downloads is my favorite if you're just doing digital goods to be downloaded. But there are so many out there, and really there isn't one that's better than any other. They all function pretty similarly with just small differences. It just takes you time to do the research to review what do you want out of it, how much do you want to spend, which one are you more comfortable personally using. So take some time to play with those. Squarespace is one of the best website drag and drop builders. They make very pretty websites very easily. And they do have e-commerce as long as you have the business plan or higher. So the cheapest plan available on Squarespace is the personal, which I think is like $10 a month or something like that. But you need the business plan, which is the next step up, which I think is like $14 a month or higher to do e-commerce. Wix is probably the most popular WordPress website builder. Sorry, not WordPress. Once again, it's a drag and drop website builder. You get to pick from their huge array of layouts, and then you get to drag stuff wherever you want it. They also have e-commerce, but once again, you have to have the business basics plan or higher in order to sell things. You can create products on Wix without the higher plan, but you can't actually start selling them until you upgrade. Shopify literally specializes in e-commerce. Like that is why it started, was to help small businesses create an online shop. They have since expanded, so now they also have a website builder, so you could have your shop and your website all through Shopify. But because it was initially a e-commerce tool, you could have a Shopify store and integrate it to WordPress or Wix or Facebook or a lot of these other ones we're going to talk about. Like I said, if you're using third party, the biggest ones are Amazon, eBay, and Etsy, but there are so many out there. You can just search your particular industry, what you're interested in doing, and then like Marketplace or something like that, and you can get a list of the top ones based on various internet people's judgments. There's also a lot of supplemental tools that help you either integrate all of these or use them better or save yourself some time. These could be newsletters that you send out to people who are customers to keep them coming back, let them know what's new or what's interesting about your business. You can use video to walk people through the product or your business. You can use social media to reach more people. You can use pop-ups to let people know really important things that you don't want them to miss. You can do follow-up emails for anybody who's bought something or hasn't in a while, or maybe abandoned their cart. There are a lot of inventory management tools that will help you connect your physical in-store shop with online tools. There's so many of these out there, and it's so dependent on what your needs are and what your business has. I can't necessarily recommend any one for any of these categories, but if you guys have questions, please feel free to contact me about them. I'm happy to help with this stuff. So on that note, we're going to launch the next poll about which online tools do you use or would you like to use? This is a multiple choice question, so you can pick as many options as you like. And hopefully, ideally, you are using multiple sites because a lot of these tools work together, not necessarily for your website itself, but you should be not just putting all of your eggs in one basket. Good, lots of results coming in, excellent. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is for the own website tools, I'm actually gonna go into these websites and show you how to set up a shop. We'll just do it really quickly. Hopefully not too quick. I'm hoping you guys can, I don't run too quickly for you. If I do, please use the hand raise feature or the chat to let me know to slow down and go back to something. I'm happy to do that, but I would like to show you guys how easy these tools are to use. So we're going to go ahead and get out of, here we go, out of the PowerPoint and into the internet. So first off is I'm going to look at WordPress because like I said, that's the biggest one. And I will admit I am a little biased because it's the one I use the most frequently. There really is nothing you can't do with WordPress if you can just find the tools or the resources to enable you to do it. It does have a pretty steep learning curve though, because there are so many options on it. So I'm going to go ahead. This is the back end of my WordPress site, Sammy by Design. Obviously, as you can see, I don't have a shop or anything installed right now. So all I have to do is come over here. WordPress is built most of its functionality on this thing called plugins. So these are the tools that enable you to do the things you want to do. So here's my list of currently installed plugins, but I'm going to go up here to add new. And then in the search plugin, I'm going to search for Woocommerce. As I mentioned, it is very popular, 5+ million active installations. It's a very big tool with a lot of different plugins that will let you do even more things. So the base Woocommerce is totally free. You can do anything you want. And that goes for any of the earlier plugins I talked about. All of these base ones are free. And then they have additional features you can purchase to make them do more things. So now that I've installed Woocommerce, I'm going to click Activate. Give it some time to think about it. And here we go. Walks you through a wizard of how to set it up. You just have to put in where you're located, your address. I'm going to use the Goosefoot address. What currency you want it to be in, and what you sell. Do you sell physical goods, digital products, or both? I'm going to go ahead and click both because let's say I have some purses and bags, but I also have a gift card I want to sell. So I'm going to hit let's go. Let them track. That's fine. How do I want to accept payment? There's Stripe accounts. There's PayPal integrated, and there's also offline payments. So you can let people pay you by check. You can let people pay you by bank transfers. You can let people pay you by cash when they come pick it up. There's also a lot of other plugins you can install. I got a couple of questions before this workshop started about Square, for example. Square does not have an e-commerce setup. It's not meant for selling online. It is meant for selling in your shop. But you can use tools like Woocommerce to integrate to your Square account so that all of your products that are in your Square account can automatically show up in your Woocommerce. You just have to install it afterwards because it's not one of the default ones that it allows you to do here. I don't need to be set up for account. That's fine. I can click as many of these as I want. I don't take checks, but I will take cash. That's fine. And you can always change these settings later as well. You don't have to settle on one right now. And then I'm going to go ahead and click continue. Let that process as well. And then shipping. So they have shipping zones, which allow you to sell within certain areas. So like I said here, it's created the United States and the rest of the world. I could limit it to just the US if I want. I could limit it to just Washington State. For a lot of you, selling to the entire world sounds like an awesome idea. For some of you, for example, if you sell alcohol, you might have different requirements of where you're allowed to sell. So you might have to limit this or not, depending on what your business needs. I'm going to go ahead and leave this. I can set a flat rate of, anything bought for me is going to cost you $10 to ship. I can set it at free shipping, or later I can install things that will help calculate the shipping rate based on the weight of the item, the size, and where it's going to. But for now, I'm just going to leave these alone. You can use ounces, pounds, grams, or kilograms for your product, depending on how you measure it. And then you can use inches, meters, centimeters, millimeters, or yards. If you're selling some fabric, yards might be a great idea. We'll set this to 10. It's going to make me, okay, ship. Gives me, I don't want a storefront theme. I have a theme already on my website and I don't necessarily want it to mess with that. I'm going to let it calculate automated taxes. This is really great for those of you who are worried about taxes. We'll talk about taxes later, but Woocommerce and pretty much every system we're going to talk about today has a function to automatically calculate the tax based on where the customer is buying it from. I can also let it install MailChimp if I want to tie my store to my newsletter system. And then I could also integrate it to Facebook so that I can get pixel tracking, catalog sync, a lot of really cool stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and let that install. And while that's thinking about it, I have another new question here. How do you integrate other shipping companies to print labels and get discounted shipping rates? So through WooCommerce, I have to get through this automatic setup wizard, and then I can install other plugins. Some of them are free, some of them will cost me money, but there are plugins that will not only calculate the rate, but it'll also give you a printable label that might tie into a printer that you own, like specifically for labels, or you can print it from a regular printer. And then you should be able to just schedule a pickup or drop it off wherever the pickup location is located. It does allow you to do that, but you have to get through this setup wizard first before you start using those additional plugins to tie into it. I'm going to skip Jetpack. Jetpack is great for security. I already have security on my website, so I don't need it, but you might. But we're going to go ahead and create product. So now I've got through this setup wizard with WooCommerce. Like I said, a lot of the other WordPress tools function the same. So I'm just using WooCommerce as an example. Please play with them and figure out which one you like the look and feel of the most. So once I get into actually creating a product here on WooCommerce, it's genuinely as simple as this. Type in the name of the product. You can type in a description as short or as long as you want it to be. You can add pictures, you can add videos, you can add slideshows, you can add PDFs if you have something that's got really highly technical specs on it. So there's a lot of stuff you can add there. Don't worry about that plugin, that's something I have installed on my website. Down here in product data, this is incredibly important. This lets you put in a URL. So say you are, for example, I know we have Barry here who has Fair Trade Outfitters, and it's very important for them to promote the fair trade creators who make the products that they sell. This would be a good place to put the URL to that creator if people are interested in learning about more. Or if you're selling on Amazon or eBay and you would rather the sales go through that, you can use this as well, or you can leave it blank. All of these can be used or not used as you need to for your business. You can set it as taxable or not taxable or shipping only. Most of you, your goods that you will be selling are taxable. However, some of you don't. You can sell things that are tax-free. And then also you can set the tax class. So is it a standard rate? Is it a reduced rate? Or is it a 0 rate? The inventory tab, these tabs over here. Ooh, why are you not working very well? Let me come back into here. Sometimes this happens to get a little bit of a glitch. That's fine. We'll just go back into it. Am I going at an okay speed for everyone, or am I going too quickly? You're thinking about it, aren't you? All right. Unfortunately, it looks like my website's glitching out a little bit, but these should be giving me other tabs that explain very simple language just like this, that allow me to input more information. So the inventory tab lets me put how many of the product I actually have. If you only have one, you can put that there, or you can have lots. There's no upper limit. You can also set up it to give you an alert when something runs low. So say you use, I don't know, you have 20 of a product. You can set up at a point where when you only have 5 left, it will send you an email of, hey, you're running low on this product. You should order more or list more. Shipping allows you to set up the shipping details. This is your weight, your size, all the things that a shipper would need to know in order to calculate how much your shipping is going to cost. You can set up linked products. So if you've ever shopped on Amazon, they have a tab for other things that you might be interested in buying. You can do the same thing through Woocommerce. You can suggest other products they might be interested in or things that should be bought together. Attributes, this is your color, size, so I have a shirt. Do I have it in red, green, and blue, and extra small through 3XL? You can put all of those variations in attributes and variations. You have to list the attributes such as color or size in attributes first, and then you go into variations and you can actually set those specific variations. So once you've got the color attribute set, then you can go to the variations tab and type red, green, blue, purple, whatever. So there's a lot of little fiddly things in here you can set up. I will answer questions in just a second. You can also type a short description if you want. So up here is your full long description of everything that you're explaining about the product. Down here is a nice short, cute little description. Some themes will pull this to the top, and then people can go down to the full description if they want more information later. Short descriptions are also really great to control how they appear on search platforms, things like that. So feel free to use both, or you can just use one if you need to. You can also set up, if you have categories, such as maybe clothing, home furnishing, gifts, shoes, you can set all those categories up. All you have to do is use the new category here. You can also tag them with things. So, if you sell, for example, food, you can do spicy, home comfort food, whatever you want to. You can use these or not use these as you want to for your business. Make sure you come over here to this far side, this right side, because product image is incredibly important. You should always put in a picture of your product. So make sure you set that. But you can also use product gallery if you have lots of pictures of the particular product. And then once you're all done, you can publish it. You can save it as a draft if you want to leave it and come back to work on it later. You can also hit preview to see what it will look like. So that's Woocommerce. If you actually go into Woocommerce, they have an extensions tab down here. And this is where you can see all of these extensions that they offer. You can let customers subscribe to your products or services on a regular basis. You can have a booking calendar if you offer more services. You can do memberships for specific things, and you can see the prices right here. but there's also a lot down here. So you can do add-ons, personalizations. You can do a product search function. You can do, there's checkout add-ons like free shipping or upsells. You can do cart reports of when people are leaving their cart, like what about the process is making them abandon it. You can see how much it actually costs you to sell your goods, coupons, follow-up emails, Google products. As you can see, a lot of these do cost money, but even if I just click on any of them, it can give you more of a description on what it actually does. And these costs are on an annual basis. But if you know, they've got all enhancements, they've got a lot of enhancements in here that are completely free. So as you can see, here's Stripe, Amazon Pay, if you have a ShipStation account, PayPal, here's WooCommerce shipping that will let you print the labels from your WooCommerce dashboard at the USPS rate. I think FedEx and UPS are also in here, and I believe those are free, but they have more expensive paid options as well. You can have a chat feature if you want to have a help desk, and then you can set what hours you're in and available for those. So as you can see, I'm not going to go through all of these, but there's so many additional plugins that will help you do stuff even better, and you know, automate it. So you know, automate your sales tax collection. That's awesome. Some of them are free. Everything on this tab has been completely free. There's also some ones you might have to pay for if you want it to do something a little more faster, easier. There's a lot of options in here. It can get pricey pretty quickly, so I would recommend having a list of things that are absolutely required and having a list of things that would be nice but not vital, so that if you come across that price tag, you can go, okay, this would be nice, but I'm not going to do it yet until this store starts making money for me. Okay, so that's just WooCommerce. Like I said, a lot of the ones on WordPress, they all use a lot of these similar setups. So I'm going to take a moment to answer some questions because we've gotten a lot of really great ones in here. Lynn asked, what about other than WordPress? Do they have all of the same add-ons? Not the same add-ons, but a lot of them have the similar functions. And I will actually go through the other ones. As you can see, I've got tabs up here for Squarespace, Wix, Shopify, Facebook. So we're going to go into the other ones, but a lot of them will do the same things, if not exactly the same. Let's see. Lee said, I'm using a third-party storefront. Would I just link this to my website, or do I need the WooCommerce plugin? You can absolutely just link to a third-party storefront without needing to link it to your, I would just link it to your website as a page. So when you're looking on your website, if you're looking at the menu that you've set up, you can have the shop page be set up and then link it to that other store, that website, that store, third-party storefront you've already set up. There's no need to duplicate the effort. If you do want it on your website, so you only have to check one thing, depending on what you're using, WooCommerce might actually integrate with that thing, so it will automatically pull the data over from that third-party storefront. You don't have to duplicate the effort. But if you just want to stick with your third-party storefront that you're already comfortable with, that is absolutely acceptable. You do not have to have it all on WordPress. Nancy asked, wouldn't it be better to link into your sales system for inventory amounts, Square, for example, so you don't have to double entry of inventory? Yes, if you can, it is always better to link any of your sales systems together, any inventory management system you have. It's always better to link that. So, because, you know, what if something on your website all of a sudden starts selling like crazy, and in the meantime, you're selling it in your store and you didn't notice that you ran out of stock, and then you have to do refunds. So if you can link them together, that is always the best option. However, depending on your skill level and tool availability, that might not be possible. So if you can do it, it is always best to do it linked. But if you can't, it's not the end of the world. Some people don't have it linked as well. So I hope that helps. All right, any other WordPress specific questions before we move on to Squarespace? right, hopefully I've answered all the questions. I can come back later if we need to. So here's Squarespace. Thank you to China City for letting me use your backend. They're a client I have. That's why I have the access to this. And the only reason I'm not using Goosefoots, which is also a Squarespace base for now, it is not set up to do e-commerce. So I couldn't use that as my example. So Squarespace, once again, very easy to do, very pretty websites, lots of very big picture oriented. It is the same thing with products. So when you're logged into your Squarespace account, you got all of these options here. When you are at a business account or higher, you can see right here is the third option is commerce. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. Commerce is where you can sell everything. So I can see orders. This site doesn't currently sell anything, so there are no orders, but I can also do inventory. So I can add products. So as you can see right now, I can upload a picture or multiple pictures. I can name the product. I can set the price. I can tag if it's a subscription product. For example, maybe you're a farmer who has a CSA. Great tool to use. Subscription product, it regularly charges customers on the recurring basis you set, whether that's weekly, monthly, quarterly, whatever, or yearly. And then I can write my description here. And then all of these tabs are the same thing as those tabs I was talking about in Woocommerce, where I can get pricing and variance. So I can set up the price of objects. I can say how much the stock is. I can say how much it weighs and what the dimensions are. Variants also let me do, as it says right here, color, size, style, material. I can set a lot of these options. So say I have 20 shirts, but 5 of them are blue size large and so on. I would need to program those into here. Additional information could include longer descriptions, videos, Q&As, technical specs. If you have clothing, additional information is a fabulous place to put size charts, for example. Forms let you collect additional information. Say you need to, or you want to collect emails so you can get them in your newsletter, or what they may be using the product for, or pretty much any questions you might want to ask them. You can add a form to the checkout page so that as they are filling out, maybe customization, anything like that, as they're filling it out, they have a place to answer those additional questions you have. Options, you can set a thumbnail image so that when it's shared to social media, you can decide what that image looks like. And also some themes on Squarespace don't let you show the full thing. They just pull a picture and then the short description. You can decide what that picture looks like at a smaller size. You can also set the product URL. So you can see this is a jumble of messy stuff. So I could change this to, blue shirt if I want it to look nicer. You can add a custom add button. So instead of add to cart, it can be buy now or take home or whatever you want it to be. You can also feature it. Some themes on Squarespace let you feature things so that they pop up at the top. Maybe they're a slightly different color to draw attention to it. The SEO tab helps you with search engine optimization. So this is how it appears in search results such as Google. You can set your title or you can set the description. It will automatically default pull the first 50 to 300 characters from your description, which might not be how you want it to display when you are putting it online. Your first descriptions might be, thanks so much for looking at this product, but on Google, you don't want the description to start with, thanks so much for looking at this product. You want to start straight to the key important facts about it that somebody might click on to look at the product. Social lets you share it on social media. So you can set a different image. Say your first image of the product over here is, this bottle of Advil on a black background so that it's, shows, But when it goes on social media, if anybody shares it there, you want it to be an action shot of maybe it being like poking out of somebody's purse a little bit as they're walking down the street, because that is more visually interesting on social media, even though it doesn't share all the specs as it would on the website. You can control how that looks on Squarespace. And then you can also go ahead and share when you post this item. When I hit save and publish, I can automatically push it to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, any of those. So that's what Squarespace does. Squarespace, by its nature, it is very pretty because it controls what you can do with it. You have to operate within their tighter bounds so that you have to make a nice looking website through Squarespace. By that nature, it does not integrate with other things as well. You can't bring your own payment processor to Squarespace. They have an internal processor. Let's see. You can only pick from Stripe, PayPal, or Square. You cannot bring anything else into it. If you want to use, your bank account has a special e-commerce option. It's not an option here. You have to use one of these three. But they do have a point of sale system if you want to use Squarespace's, and then use it in your shop as well. So you can't bring your currently existing point of sale system into Squarespace, but you can use Squarespace's point of sale system in your shop. So it's a helpful tool. It's very easy to make very pretty looking sites, but it is somewhat limited on what you are allowed to bring into it. You can't use all of these third-party integrations like you can in WooCommerce. There is, however, some nice nifty little things, like you can get all of the data on your customers. You can have wait lists. If you sell out of a product, people can sign up for the wait list to get alerted when you get it back in stock. They can see the status of, is something sold out? Is it discontinued? Is it on sale? Anything like that. And then you can set up related products, once again, like that Amazon feature where it's like, here's other things you may be interested in. And then low stock alerts and all of that. So it didn't look earlier when I was looking there on the poll earlier, it looked like there weren't a lot of Squarespace people, but if there are, does anybody have a specific Squarespace question? All right, ask away, and we can always come back to Squarespace if you need it. But as you can see, it is designed to be very easy to walk through. So next up is Wix. Thanks, Wix. Thanks for the sale. Wix, like I said, is probably the most popular website builder. It's not my favorite, but it is very easy to use. And same thing, when you're on, your website, I'm going to use the old Coupeville Halloween website. We don't have that anymore, but so say I'm editing the website. Like I said, I already have a website built on Wix. You might have to start from scratch. But as you can see, here's my dashboard when I'm logged into Wix. All I have to do is right here, go over here to hit store products. I can now add whatever I want. They have some example products already set up in here so I can see, how this functions. If you don't already have Wix store on your Wix account, all you have to do is go down here to apps and install the store. So, if I wanted to go into online store, I installed the Wix store because it is the most installed and has the highest rating, but there's a couple of variation ones. And once again, you can see they have a lot of apps as well to tie into chat features and PayPal and Stripe and a lot of payment processors. You can tie it to QuickBooks. So some of these are free. Some of them require you to have a higher level of membership Some of them do cost money. As you can see, there's free/premium, where it's installable for free. And then as soon as you try to do anything slightly more advanced with it, it then costs you money. So install it. It's literally a click to add it and install it, and then it's already activated. You don't have to do that with anything, but you can explore if there's anything specific you need. And then once again, I'm going to go back to store product so I can see the setup. So all I have to do is hit this blue new product button here, and I can choose a digital file or I can choose a physical good. They don't necessarily have subscriptions, I don't believe. Let me double check that. But once again, you just go through and fill out the fields as they offer it to you. So title of the product, you can add an image or a video, and then basic information, name the product, if there's some sort of ribbon you want to do. So this is a little icon at the bottom that has new product or on sale now or anything you want. You can also skip that if you need to. Then you can set up this price, you can flip it to on sale. You can do a description with pictures, links, various things. If you have an additional information, such as, as it says here, return policy or care instructions. If you want custom text so people can personalize the item, product options. This is your variants that I was talking about earlier with color, size, material, anything like that. And then here's your inventory. So do you want to track the inventory? Yes, I have this many in stock, or I can just do it simple, in stock and out of stock. SKUs for your own record, and then weight. And then same thing, there's groups if you need to do them for taxes. You can promote them through coupons or videos or email campaigns. You can add them to collections of certain things. So you can group them under categories. And then once again, you just publish it, and then it's on your store already. So Wix is probably the most basic and therefore one of the easiest to use. But it has more limitations than WordPress does on what you can integrate it with, but it also has more than Squarespace does. So interesting balance. All right, so that's Wix. You can see pretty easy to use. Next, we're going to go to Shopify. So like I said, Shopify started out as a digital storefront. You can now also build a website from it, or you can just have your storefront in Squarespace. This is literally the first page I got to once I logged in. I set up, as you can see, I named my store Goosefoot Example Store, but name it what your actual store is. They will stop you if your business name is the same as somebody else's. So you cannot have the same store name as someone else. You might have to add maybe, I don't know, the Collections Boutique in Coupeville. I would be very surprised to find out Collections is not already a name of a store on Shopify. So they might have to name their store Collections Woodby Island. So give me just a second. I'm going to take a drink. Stay hydrated, everybody. So once you walk through, once again, when you're setting up your account, very easy, walks you through what is the name of your store, where are you located, what kind of stuff do you sell, and then you get to this page. I'm going to go ahead and click Add Product. Like I said, it walks you through very easily. So Add Product gives me same fields that we've seen over and over here. Title, description of the product. I can add pictures. I can add videos. I can format the text in specific ways if I want. Here's a place to add media if I want lots of pictures of it or technical diagrams. I can set the pricing. There's a compare at price to put it on sale if you need to. You can also, Shopify lets you track the cost per item in a place where you can see it, but the customers cannot. So you can remind yourself, this item costs me $5. So therefore, I really shouldn't sell it for less than that because then I'm losing money. You can decide whether or not you're going to charge tax. all of these systems are set up to charge tax, to calculate the tax properly. As I mentioned earlier, we're going to talk about sales tax later, but it is not, it's not as simple to do sales tax online as it is in your store. You probably used to selling in your store for Island County sales tax rate. But with sales tax online, you actually have to pay where the item is delivered. So that is why these systems that are set up to calculate that for you are so important, because otherwise you would have a mess of sales tax to deal with come reporting time. So on that note, inventory, once again, you can put your SKU in if you want to integrate it with any systems you have, same as your barcode. You can track the quantity. You can continue selling it when it's out of stock and just let people know it's on back order and you'll order more later, or you can unclick that so that when it is sold out, it is sold. There's no more, it will stop selling it. You can set how many you have available. Shipping, if it's a physical product, leave this clicked and put in the weight and, customs information. If it is a digital good, something to download, you can unclick that so that it does not collect any shipping information. It doesn't calculate the tax for people. Well, actually, no, it'll still calculate the tax. Never mind. Variants, once again, color, size, material, all that fun stuff. You can also, on Shopify, unlike Wix, I don't think, you can control how the search engine listing appears, just like we were looking at on Squarespace and on Woocommerce. And then once again, product type, vendor name. If you are selling your own products, you can skip this vendor name if you like. If your shop thrives on selling products, very well-known products from other people, you might want to enter the vendor name. You can set it up in collections. Once again, this is just groupings of products that is important for you and your business. They also have a gift card system if you are a business that you don't necessarily want to take the leap into selling product online. You don't have the facility to do packing and shipping, and you don't want to deal with orders. You can just sell gift cards through all of these sites, really, but Shopify has it spelled out right here. So if you're just in a place where you want to give your customers the ability to support you and help you through this time, but you don't have the capacity to sell actual product right now, gift cards are a viable option for selling online. So don't be afraid to use them. And once again, it keeps track of all of your customers, their names, their addresses, what they bought when. This is really great for follow-up and great marketing tie-in to get people to keep coming back to your store. And then they've got some great analytics too. So that's Shopify. And like I said, you can either build your own website through Shopify. So you can see right here, I can customize a theme and I can add a domain. So I could build a full website on Shopify, or I can only use it for my store. And then I could use something like Woocommerce to integrate to my Shopify so that it pulls it over into my Woocommerce store if I'd rather do it that way. So Shopify is an interesting beast. Shopify also ties in super well to Facebook's catalog system. So you could have a Shopify store and then you don't have to re-upload everything into Facebook's catalog. You could just have it pull it automatically from your Shopify store. So Shopify looks like it's got a few less people than Squarespace, but once again, if you guys have any questions on these specific systems, please feel free to ask. It looks like we're going to have enough time to go through things again, so don't be afraid to pop those either into the Q&A or into the chat window. Next we have to talk about Facebook's, Instagram, and then some specific details. So before we get into that, if you guys are anything like me with all of this work from home stuff, you've been spending way too much time sitting down. So I'm actually going to pause for about 5 minutes. Please go to the restroom if you need to, grab something to drink, stay hydrated, do some stretches. but I'm going to take a brief pause here before we go on to talking about Facebook. Once again, please feel free to leave questions, but go take care of yourself, and we will be back here at 2:10, okay? All right, take care of yourselves. All right, and we're back. Hope you guys got some stretching in, got some more water. So it looks like there were no particular questions came in during the break. That's okay. Once again, feel free to ask away as they come up. But now let's take a look at Facebook. So Facebook's an interesting case. You can absolutely add your shop's products on Facebook. Then people can see them when they visit your page. There will be a nice little shop tab right below the first post, but still pretty high up on your page. It also ties in really well to advertising, but you can't actually sell things through Facebook. You have to have some sort of a shop system set up for people to be able to actually click through to buy the product, whether that's, a WordPress site or Squarespace or Shopify or anything like that. The actual sale has to take place elsewhere, but Facebook and by extension Instagram are connected really well to help you promote your online products that you have. So first off, on your actual Facebook page, you will need to make sure you are set up as a shop. So how you do that is, let's go to your Facebook page. I'm going to go to Goosefoot. I'm not going to actually save it because we're not a business that sells things, but I'm going to show you guys how to do it. So when I go into settings on my actual Facebook page, you can see right here, third option is templates and tabs. So if I click that, I am set up as a nonprofit because that's what I am. But if I change that, right here's business, politician, services, restaurants and cafe, but you're going to want to make sure you're set up for shopping. This is how it's going to show up, those products right there, right as people go into your page. So go ahead and click that, view details, and you're going to apply the template to your page itself. Like I said, I'm not going to do that because it's not a shop, but if you are selling stuff online and you want to sell it through Facebook, make sure you apply that template. So I'm actually going to go ahead and leave there. So on Facebook, in order to add your products to Facebook system, and they make it a little tricky to find, unfortunately. There's no direct route through your page itself. But if you just go to facebook.com/products, simple as that, it will immediately take you to the catalog manager, which is how Facebook lets you add your products. So I've gone to, as you can see here, I've gone to facebook.com/products. Here I am. This is what the page looks like. I have obviously set up some catalogs because I've been fiddling with this. I'm going to go ahead and delete these because, like I said, these are just experiments. But if I hit add catalog, that button that was right there at the top, it gives me right here what category best describes your business. Is it e-commerce, so you're selling products online? Is it travel, real estate, or auto? The vast majority of you signed up for this workshop today, you're e-commerce. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. And then down here, I'm going to hit next. I can choose to upload product information one by one, like we've been doing through all of these other sites, or I can also connect to an e-commerce platform such as Shopify, BigCommerce, OpenCart, Magento, or Woocommerce. So if you're using any of these that we've already talked about, Facebook can go in and automatically pull all of your products, and you can decide which ones you want to show off on Facebook. If you're not using one of these, if you're using Squarespace or Wix or a different plugin, like I said, one of my clients is using Equid, that is not, unfortunately, an option. So you will have to manually upload your products. Make sure you select which page it's going on to. I'm going to pick Coupeville Arts and Crafts Festival, but you can choose any page that you own. For a lot of you, you just own the one. For some of you, like me, I own lots, so you have to make sure you pick the right one. And then you can name your catalog whatever you want it to be. If you're setting up lots of catalogs because you have a lot of different kinds of products, make sure you name those so that it makes sense to you. This is not going to show for anybody else. It's just an identifier for you. So then once you're done all that, you're going to go ahead and click create. Make sure you view the catalog. It's processing it. Like I said, if you connected with one of those, it's going to start pulling stuff automatically. So this is going to look a little different for you. But we're going to look at actually uploading it ourselves. So it defaults you right here to this very helpful page that tells you how to use it. So how do you create your ads using products? How do you do Instagram shopping? How do you set up your Facebook page shop? So these are some really great tutorials that will walk you through using these systems. But I'm going to ignore all of that for now, and I'm going to go straight to products because I want to start uploading my products. As you can see, I don't have any products yet. So all I have to do is hit this big blue button that says add products. I can add it manually. I can upload a data file up to, if I have lots, 50 or more items. If I have a spreadsheet or some sort of XML file or something that your inventory management system or Square or whatever, if it has some sort of export function, you can download that information and then upload it right here to Facebook so that you don't have to manually do it yourself. You can also use Facebook Pixels, which is a code you can install on your website so that it can see your catalog and it can automatically pull from there as well. Once again, this is recommended if you have more than 50 items that get updated regularly. And then I'm going to go ahead and do add manually because I don't have products yet. So if I click add manually, once again, this form should be fairly familiar to you guys by this point. You can add the item, the picture. You can only add one on Facebook. You can name it, describe it. If you need to, add a SKU or some sort of identifier for your system. And then you need to insert the link of where people can buy it and then how much it costs. So Facebook's product system does not actually let you have the variants like other sites that we've talked about do. If you have, one shirt that's in 4 different colors and 12 different sizes, that is like 28 products because each color and size is its own, actually it's way more than because it's variants. Each color and size is its own product. This is really daunting if you have a lot of products or a lot of variations, which is you might want to use one of those earlier options. Or you might decide to just put your best sellers or your highest price items, something that will draw people in. You can choose just to do a few of those products on Facebook. on this note, I will actually talk a little bit about Instagram. Unfortunately, I can't show you guys how the Instagram system works because it is a mobile app. I can't do things like that through the website. And if I were to hold up my phone and try to show it to you guys, this is way too small for you guys to be able to see it well. So we're going to not do that, unfortunately. But you have to have your Facebook product catalog set up in order to sell through Instagram. You have to do this first. So a lot of the other ones I've shown you so far, you would do only that. You'd pick between one of the 5 examples I showed you, but on Facebook, you have to have one of those previous stores already set up to tie it to, and then you have to set up Facebook in order to then set up Instagram. They're owned by the same company and they function the same way. So make sure you add your products, and then also you need at least 9 products in order to sell through Instagram. So that is a good reason to put lots of variants in there. So, sorry, I just noticed I've got some questions. So, wouldn't it be better to just link the site you sell from rather than list all options on Facebook? Yes, that's why I was talking about if when you're adding your product, if you have if you can use the Facebook pixel, if you have the technical know-how to do that, this is going to make it a lot easier because it's just going to go to your website and pull the information instead of making you do it yourself. If you can use this, please go ahead and use it. Thanks, Lindsay. Bye. If you can't use it, you can manually do it. It will just take you more time. But if you can link it to stuff, it'll make your life a lot easier. If you can't use Facebook catalog, what is the best way to market through Facebook? Link to storefront or advertising? Honestly, the best way to use Facebook, if you can't use the catalog, is kind of a mix of both. I would post your products individually. You can just post pictures of them, or you can post a link to your website of the product where people can go buy it. Facebook's algorithms are very tricky, but they really don't like you taking people outside of Facebook. So anytime you post links to things that are outside of Facebook, aka your shop that's hosted on another platform, Facebook is not very friendly with showing that to people. So it will show it to people, but your numbers will be significantly less than a post that encourages people to stay on Facebook, aka these kind of shop posts. It is possible to link it just through a regular post, but I would recommend doing some paid advertising on top of that because Facebook is not prioritizing business content. So post away. Nothing is stopping you from doing that. Just be aware your reach is going to be a little bit lower. So it is absolutely an option, but I would kind of use both. Let's see. Can we put items in a Facebook catalog with no price so we don't have to keep 2 priced places? No, you can't list items because if you don't put a dollar amount in there, it will show up as free, which is definitely not what you want because people will get upset at you misconstruing things. So you do have to put a price, but like I said, you can't actually sell it through Facebook, so you don't have to worry too much about maybe selling it on Facebook and missing it on your website. People have to go to your website to buy it. However, if you do change your price regularly, if you manually uploaded Facebook items, you're going to have to change it on both Facebook and your website. But like, if you use Facebook Pixels or you use one of those integrated apps we talked about earlier, Facebook will automatically pull that data and adjust whenever you adjust your website. So if you're a person who changes prices regularly, I would look at one of these connection and integration apps instead. Let's see. If we have to leave early, will we still get the whole webinar emailed to us? Absolutely. The fact that you're here, you have attended, you are going to get this entire video emailed to you. It's not going to randomly cut off at where you stopped watching. So if you have to go, I completely understand. But yes, you will get the whole video. So I'm going to go back to my slides for Instagram because, as I said, unfortunately, I can't show that to you. But to sell on Instagram, you have to have a business Instagram account. You can't sell products as a person on Instagram. I mean, nothing's stopping you from just taking a picture of the product and saying, go check out the link in our description. But if you didn't know already, if you have an Instagram account, you cannot put a clickable link in an Instagram post. The only clickable link on Instagram, on all of Instagram, is the link in your description and on your homepage. So if you're selling products through Instagram and you're not a business page, you could post the URL if you want, but it's not clickable. People would have to copy and paste or type it in themselves, which is not what people tend to do on Instagram. Or you could have your link in your description linked to your shop. But make sure you have a business account. It's really easy to set up. You just go to your settings on your profile and then click through to switch to a professional account. I have an Instagram class later. We will talk about how to do this if you don't already know, or there's a lot of really great videos online as well. But in the process of changing your Instagram to a business account, you have to connect it to a business Facebook page. That business Facebook page to sell on Instagram has to have the Facebook catalog set up, as I mentioned earlier. You have to primarily sell goods, physical goods. Unfortunately, Instagram is not on board with selling services or digital downloads. It has to be a physical good to match Instagram's terms of service right now. Once you have all of those things set up and in place, then you can submit your account to Instagram for review. And then they will take anywhere from 48 hours to a few days to review your account and say, yes, you can sell things on Instagram, or no, you cannot. Instagram sales are incredibly vital if you are trying to reach that primary, 30 to 50-year-old audience. 80% of Instagram users have said they have bought something on Instagram in the past. It's so easy to be scrolling down your feed and see a product and go, ooh, that's pretty. And at the bottom of the product is a shop now. You click it, it opens the purchase page. You can immediately buy it and you're good to go. So if that is your primary target audience, it's very key to use. A lot of people are shopping on Instagram, but it does take a lot of steps to get set up. So let's see. Alice said, are you using a feature of Zoom to record the video that you send out or some other tool? I am using Zoom to record, but you can use a tool like Mixer. A good class in these times would be about online video conference software and the pros and cons of them. I agree. A class about how to connect with people online would be great. We're actually working with Woodby Telecom on developing something like that and other similar tech-specific workshops. So if you're not already, make sure you follow Goosefoot on Facebook. We'll be announcing a lot of these really rapid upcoming classes pretty soon. So keep an eye on our Facebook page. I will probably also be uploading this video to YouTube because it records it and saves it locally to my computer, and I'm not gonna take the time to send you all a 2-hour video file that's gonna just not go anywhere in my email account. So I will probably upload it to YouTube and then send you all the link to that. It's very easy to do. So let's see, if you want to post on YouTube, what is the best to use? A Mixer is not technically, Mixer is almost a competitor to YouTube. Twitch and Mixer are live streaming services, if you haven't heard of them. Primarily used for gaming, but really there's a lot of stuff you can use. YouTube is more of a video database. So you can live stream on YouTube, but people are used to going and seeing pre-recorded videos on YouTube, and then you can embed it in pretty much any site you can think of. Mixer and Twitch don't embed quite as easily, and the systems are a little different, but there's so many tools out there, and that's why I'm working with Woodby Telecom to get some online classes developed. So wonderful. Anyway, back to selling online. Alice, I can absolutely talk to you about this later, but so that's, like I said, Instagram is great for connecting with this younger base, but you have to have your Facebook ducks that we talked about earlier set up before you can have Instagram, and before you can do Facebook, you really should have an online website for people to actually buy the product from. So it does take some lining up to do. You do have some work ahead of you, but there absolutely, as you can see, there's just so many options. And one thing I also wanted to show you guys before I get into more of the nitty gritty stuff is if you don't currently have a library card, you are definitely going to want to get one. And luckily right now, because the libraries are closed, they've waived the requirement to prove your address right now. You can get one online, but if you have one, let me show you some really cool tools through the library that are absolutely free to help you learn very specific functions that I didn't have time to go over in this class. So here I am on the Snow Isle Library's website. For those of you who don't have it bookmarked, it's just snow-isle.org, SNO. And then we're going to go to under using the library, or sorry, no, I'm wrong. Going to online library, which is the second option. Then I'm going to go to research. The second box is business and finance. There are so many really great tools here. I use a lot of these for Marketing 101 and starting a business classes that I'll be teaching later. But primarily what I'm going to look at for you guys right now is about midway down the page. It's lynda.com. Now, if you go straight to lynda.com, you have to pay them money. It is a subscription service offered through LinkedIn, but the library has paid for you to have a membership already. So if you go to this page and click on lynda.com link here on this business and finance page, if you click on this, you get access for free. You just have to log in with your library card. So once I'm logged in, I can see there's a huge amount of videos on everything you could ever imagine. If I go to the business tab under library, online marketing, and there's selling online videos. If you're looking at very specific ones, so say you wanted to learn more about Shopify, all I have to do is type that into search and I can see, oh, look, there's a video on choosing an e-commerce platform. So if you're still having that question of, well, which one should I use? This might be a great video to watch. It's only an hour long and you can skip around as you need to. There's Shopify Essential Training, Shopify e-commerce for marketers, learning Shopify for beginners. And the great thing about all of these, you can watch them from the comfort of your home anytime you want. And also, if you start a video, say you start this 3-hour and 13-minute video and you have to go, you can't just sit in one place for 3 hours. It's okay. You can leave. And then the next time you logged into lynda.com, it will have saved where in the video you were. So you can continue watching. You can also skip around if you need to when you go into the video itself. You see there's all these categories. So I don't need to know this whole intro section. I just want to get straight into, adding a simple product. I can click that and it'll skip straight to that part of the video. So there are so many more resources right here on, same thing with, if I wanted to learn about Woocommerce or BigCommerce or Wix or Weebly, it's the same thing. They're all really great videos taught by professionals, accessible at any time. You can take them at your own speed. You can stop and replay things if you need to. So please use this tool. It's really helpful. It's unbiased sources. These are not people who work for these companies. They're just teaching you how to use the things you need to use. So that is absolutely a resource you should be using. And once again, I'm going to go back to the library's website so I can show you how to get to this for those of you that missed it earlier. So if I'm on the Snow Isle Library website, I'm going to go up here in this orange bar to online library. And then I'm going to hit research, which is the second option. And then I'm going to click this business and finance tab. Like I said, everything in here is alphabetical, so lynda.com is about in the middle of the page. So that is all of the system, not all of the systems, obviously, as I mentioned earlier, there's literally millions of them out there and available. Everybody has their own. I am not saying any one is better than anything else. Just because I showed you Woocommerce on WordPress doesn't mean BigCommerce or Ecwid or any of the others aren't just as good. It's really just giving yourself time to play and experiment and see which one makes the most sense to you, which one is the easiest for you to use. So on that note, sales tax. I've alluded to this a couple of times. Sales tax gets a little tricky with online sales. There's no federal state tax, as you guys know, sales tax. Every state, county, and city has their own rules and rates. So, and when you're selling online, Washington requires you to pay the sales tax for where the item is delivered. So if you sell something online and someone in Squim buys it, you have to pay Squim sales tax, not Island County sales tax. And by pay, you guys know, I mean collect and remit. If you're selling to other states, you don't necessarily have to pay sales tax for other states. You are only required to collect sales tax in states that you have a sales tax nexus. So what that means is it is a state you have a physical presence in. For all of you signed up for this, that is Washington. You are physically located in Washington. But if you have multiple stores, say you have a store here on Whidbey Island and one in Portland, you'd have to pay Washington and Oregon for anybody that's in those states. Another sales tax nexus could be if you have a storehouse or storage or warehousing facility. So say you're located here in Washington State, but you have a warehouse for your products down in Los Angeles because you get a lot of imported goods. So therefore, you would have to worry about sales tax in both Washington State and in California State for anybody in those states that purchases from you. This doesn't mean if you sell to Marion in Langley, you only have to worry about Langley sales tax. You don't have to pay sales tax in California as well. But it does mean if somebody in California buys from you, you do have to pay California sales tax. This also included if you have employees in another space or in another state. So say your office is in downtown Langley, but you also have a employee who does shipping and processing for you located in Wisconsin. Now you have to worry about sales tax in both Washington State and Wisconsin. This is really confusing, and I will say right up front, I am not a tax expert. Please talk to a CPA, especially one that has experience with online sales taxes. But for the vast majority of you, what I'm saying is you only have to worry about sales tax in Washington State. If you don't have to worry about collecting sales tax from somebody who purchases from you in Texas or Idaho or anything like that. You just have to collect and pay when it is in Washington State. That is why those tools I've been talking about, these online store builders that are specialized in it, are so important. They ask you where you are located, where your stores are located, and then based on the person who is buying from you, they will calculate it. I have a client, I'm not going to say what business it is, but I have one of my clients sells online, and they asked me, hey, the last 3 orders coming through did not charge sales tax. What's going on? I pulled up the orders and I looked at it. All 3 of them were in Florida. That's why they didn't get charged sales tax, because you are not responsible for paying Washington State sales tax for orders that were shipped and delivered to Florida, okay? You only have to pay Washington State if the sale occurred in Washington State. So if the person lives in Washington, you have to pay their sales tax. But if they live outside of Washington, don't have to worry about sales tax at all. But again, I'm not an expert. Please talk to an accountant if you're very concerned about this. So now that I've confused you all with sales tax, let's talk about shipping and returns. 80% of customers are influenced by shipping costs and speed. A lot of people will abandon carts when the shipping cost ends up being a lot more expensive than they thought it would be, or when the delivery time is too extended from what they want. I've literally seen friends participate in the insanity of buying, $20 worth of things more on Amazon that they did not need just to avoid a $6 shipping charge. It blows my mind, but people are genuinely very impacted by shipping costs and speed. So the faster you can get things shipped and the cheapest you can do it, the better for people following through. Excuse me. You have to decide for yourself if you're going to charge for shipping on each product, or if you can offer free shipping and build the cost of shipping into your product. So maybe your online store, maybe a product is $6 more than it would be in your physical location, because people who come to your physical location outside of the current situation get a bit of a discount, but ostensibly you get to offer free shipping. I can't tell you what to do. You're going to have to make that decision on your own, but that is something to consider. Additionally, be aware of returns. 30% of online purchases are returned, except for in industries like clothing, which has a higher return rate, closer to 50%. The reason this is with clothing, a lot of people will buy two of the same item, one in each size. They'll try them on, decide which one fits best, and send back the other one. If you're doing clothing, just be prepared for this. There's really no way to get around it. We're all aware clothes are some of the trickiest things to buy online because we don't really have a standardized sizing system in this country. And even if you do, clothes just sit differently on different people. But for those that aren't doing clothes, you might still have returns. I will say it's not really a scam. Most returns are due to retailer error. That means you did something wrong. Whether the product was damaged, it wasn't well described online, you took a picture of it, but it was in really low light, so the color is not accurate at all. That is the vast majority of returns. Very few of them are people who bought a thing, realized they couldn't really afford it, and returned it. That doesn't happen very frequently. Because of that, because like I said, most returns are retailer error, 81% of shoppers want simple, easy, and free returns. They don't want it to be some big hassle. They don't want a super tight, rigid, hoops they have to jump through. Who likes to be, in an email chain with customer service for a big corporation? Who wants to call over and over again trying to get your money back for something? Nobody wants that. Make it as simple as possible. You can have whatever rules you want on returns. You just have to spell them out. If you sell something, especially if it's, a customized product and you won't take it back, that's fine. Just explicitly tell people that in a very easy to find location and stick to it. All right. Marion asks, are there any restrictions you know of on selling and shipping food products online? Not that I'm aware of. The food products usually more get down to how tricky it can be to get it to people in a timely enough manner that it doesn't spoil. But technically, no, you can ship cookies, you can ship baked goods, you can ship sauces. There's no restriction. The biggest restriction you might run into is fluids, but that depends on the shipping company. If one company won't take something, for example, alcohol, you cannot send alcohol through USPS, but FedEx, I think it's either FedEx or UPS. I think it's FedEx. FedEx will take alcohol. It just costs a higher rate. So even if you can't ship something through a specific shipper, there is another that might specialize in that, and it might just cost you a little bit more. But no, as far as I know, there are no restrictions outside of alcohol or cannabis. Additionally, and especially in this time of a lot of things being up in the air, a lot of things changing, consider local pickup or delivery. You can still sell things online and not ship them at all. Really great example of this locally is Would Be Donuts. Would Be Donuts has their entire menu on their website, and you can choose when you go onto that whether you're going to do local pickup curbside pickup, or if you're going to do delivery. You can tell them that they're not dealing with any shipping companies. They're not dealing with USPS or FedEx or UPS. They're doing it themselves, but it's still up online. It's a lot easier. And I will admit, for people like me, I hate using the phone. I hate calling people. So I've probably eaten more Would-Be Donuts since the work from home started than I have any other restaurant, because they make it easy for me. So even if you don't want to do shipping, you only want to sell to your regular local customers in a way that they can't come into your store, you can still put it up on your website and only offer local pickup or delivery. So you don't have to deal with the big shipping companies if you don't want to. That should not stop you from selling online if you're interested. So payment processing is another tricky thing. As I talked about, as I went through all of these, some sites let you use whatever you want. Some require you to use theirs. So some of the top ones to just look at is PayPal is the most widely known and most well-used platform in the world for online e-commerce. They started out with eBay in the early days of the internet. They've since split off and become their own company. Everybody knows PayPal. They do take a 2.9% plus 30 cents per transaction cut. So once again, they take some of the money. It's how their business model works. But there are no monthly or account fees. So if you sell one product through PayPal, you're going to pay 2.9% plus 30 cents. If you sell nothing, you don't owe them anything. And they usually pay out within one business day. So that means it goes into your PayPal account, and then if you have it automatically set up, it will automatically transfer to your bank account within one business day. Or if you manually go in and tell it to transfer to your bank account, it will then transfer to your bank within a day usually. There might be some delays on that, especially now with everything going on, but it is usually within one day. Stripe is the new kid on the block. It's also the big sexy one that everyone likes to look at. Kickstarter, Nike, a lot of these big places use Stripe as their payment processor. So they're doing something right. It's the most flexible. You can do a lot of things with Stripe that you can't necessarily do with PayPal, but they have the exact same rate. It's 2.9% plus 30 cents per transaction with no monthly or account fees. Their transfer is closer to a 2-day transfer to get the money into your bank. Authorize Net is one I saw a lot of people using at some point. I don't see it as much anymore, thankfully. It is the oldest platform of the ones I'm talking about. I don't really like it. It's very old. It's very clunky. It's not modernized very well. It has a $49 setup charge, $25 monthly fee, 2.9% rate, and 30 cents per transaction. So it's got these account fees that the others do not. Not even mentioned in here, your bank might have something specific to e-commerce. You might be using one. I know a lot of you guys were emailing really great questions beforehand, and you were asking about specific payment processors. These rates I'm showing here, the 2.9% plus 30 cents per transaction, is pretty standard for most payment processors. If you can find a better rate, go for it. I'm not going to blame you at all. And then also sites like Amazon, Squarespace, they have their own built-in system, so you don't even necessarily get a pick. You gotta just use theirs. So on that note, I'm gonna launch the last poll of the workshop. How do you plan to deliver your sold product? Are you doing shipping, direct delivery? Are you downloading it? Or are you gonna do local pickup? Not super important. I'm just very curious. Yeah, you're right, Roberta. There is also Apple and Google Pay as well. So like I said, there's so many systems. I cannot name them all. There's just lots of options. Explore, talk to your bank, find out what their opinion is on which one's more reliable and safer. Look at their rates, price compare. By all means, look around, and also, once again, check with your website system, if there's any limitations on that end, what they will allow. So, got some good answers to that poll. Excellent. Marketing your online product can be a little bit tricky. The key to marketing online products, but different than doing it physically in the store, is you have to have good images. You've got to. In your store, it's fine if some item is crammed on a shelf because you can always shift stuff around. You can, highlight it in different ways. People can actually pick it up and look at it and turn it at different angles. They can't do that online. We do not yet have the technology. So it is dependent on you to get really good pictures. Whether you take those yourself, whether you hire someone to take them for you, whether you get them directly from the producer of the item, if you buy things from other people and then list them. If you're going to spend your money on anything doing online sales, I would spend it on getting good pictures, because that is what people rely on more than the description, more than the technical breakdown. People want to see the item online before they buy it. If you can get creative, simulate a store environment, touch and feel as much as possible. Let people, really understand the item in a way that they normally would be able to by coming into your store. Take the time to write up thorough descriptions and get really good images. If you have the capacity, 3D images are really cool. Facebook actually allows this by taking a picture and like moving your item around, your phone around it, so that when people click and drag, it gives them that option to see it from all different angles. If you can't do the 3D imaging, just take lots of angles, put it in different settings, have it on that white background, have it in someone's purse, move it outside, put it in different environments so people can see what it looks like under different lighting, in comparison to other colors, in different uses. And if you have the capacity, take video, just set up your camera and film yourself talking about the product, or, showing it off. If you can't take a 3D video or image, just video it. Hold your item up and just kind of rotate it and show people in different, angles. That is absolutely okay. But get creative and have a little bit of fun with it. Once again, I'm going to point to Would Be Donuts. They've been having way too much fun with their videos lately. So it's a great local example to learn from. Make sure you use social media and newsletters to help draw attention to your new store, especially in this day and age. People are a little worried about the economy, but they also are worried about their local businesses. I see so many posts online of people going, okay, I'm fine, I'm working from home or I'm retired, but I'm worried about what my downtown is going to look like. What are going to happen to the small businesses that I love, that make up the fabric of who we are? They're already concerned about you. Let them know that they can support you in other ways. Let them know how they can help, even if they can't buy something, because not everybody is in a position to spend money right now. Tell them they can help by sharing the word, by posting it on their Facebook. Let people help and tell them explicitly how they can help you. People want to help. Give them the opportunity to do so. And follow up with people. If people have made a purchase, send them an email thanking them, telling them about, the next thing they could buy. If it's something that's used up, like lotions or soap or something, tell them, set up an automatic email in 2 months to say, hey, maybe it's time to repurchase. There's also a lot of tools out there for a lot of the sites I've shown you today that can also set up notice alerts for abandoned carts. If somebody brings their mouse up to close the page, a pop-up will be like, no, wait, we'll give you 10% off if you buy this. There's a lot of different ways to follow up with people. Make sure, even if at the end of this, you've watched this whole video and you've decided, this is too much. I can't sell online. I don't have the skill. It scares me. That's fine, but still do the follow-up and still tell people how you're doing, what your thought process is, what you're going through, how they can help. Let people know. Keeping people in the loop is so vital right now. Everybody is feeling so isolated and disconnected that giving them that window into what you're doing will really help people. So make sure you use those marketing tools that are available. All right, if there's any questions, I can answer them now, but I did want to say a few more things while you guys maybe type away. I don't know if you guys noticed in the posting for this class, I mentioned that now that you have come here, you are eligible for a 30-minute one-on-one session with me. We will once again use Zoom, but it'll just be me and you. I will be able to hear and see you during that session, and we will be able to share screens. So you can share your screen and you can show me exactly what you're looking at, and then I can annotate on your screen of where you need to go and what you need to look at. So that is a tool we are offering. I'm genuinely here to help you guys however I can. So when this video is over, I will send you all the link to this video. I will also send you the slide deck if you want to peruse that on your own. And I will send you the link to sign up for those one-on-one sessions. If one of those times does not work for you, please let me know in a reply email. I will work with you to set up a time to specifically sit with you. Unfortunately, due to the size of this, I only have time for each of you. I can only give you half an hour, but I'm happy to answer emails at any time. And my phone number's there, but I'm only checking my office phone once a day, so I would really recommend sending me an email. And sign up for those sessions. Ask the questions now. We still have 5 minutes left in this session. So thank you all so much for coming. My thoughts are with every single one of you. As I've said a few times to some of my friends, I'm not worried about me. I'm working from home. I have a job. I've got food. I'm settled. I am so worried about everybody else. So, let me help you if I can. So I'm going to answer some questions, but if you're done for the day and you want to go, you are welcome to head out. Thank you so much for coming. Now I'm going to answer some questions. So Mary said, can we share with friends? You are absolutely welcome to share the link with friends. I will also be teaching this class again on, let me find my phone. If you go check out the Facebook page, our Goosefoot's Facebook page, our whole list of upcoming classes, including social media and this class as well, are up on our Facebook page. But I will be reteaching this class on Saturday, April 11th at 10 a.m. If you know anybody who would like to take this class, it's still going to be free. Our whole list is up on our website as well. So please check that out. But I will absolutely, I'm okay with you sharing this video with folks as well. Yes, please check out the videos on lynda.com as well. If you guys have any requests for future classes and workshops that you would like us to do, I will be sending around a survey about this class, how we did, what would you like to see in the future. Please tell us if there's something we can do. That is what Goosefoot is dedicated to doing. We are here to help, so please tell me how we can do that. But thank you all so much for coming in. Thank you for participating in the chat and in Q&A. Thank you for talking to each other. We're all in this together and we're gonna get through it. So thank you guys. All right. Thank you guys. You guys are all great. I will absolutely be sending that email out very shortly. So Lee just asked, if we can't use Facebook catalog, what is the best way to market through Facebook? Link to storefront or advertising? As I mentioned earlier, Lee, I would do both. I would link to your website and your storefront on Facebook, make posts about specific products, highlight them, but also consider paying to boost those, because Facebook is not super supportive of links that take people off of Facebook. So you might have to pay a little bit money to get some more traction, but I would absolutely do both. Wonderful. Thank you guys so much. I will leave the chat open for a bit, but I'm going to go ahead and mute my mic and my camera. So thank you guys. Have a great rest of your day. Stay safe.